There's not a fucking chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive. Jake Paul's dead. He's dead. He's not gonna make it. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
Oh, bro, if I'm fighting this guy.
Joe Rogan didn't just criticize Jake Paul. He detonated on him like a judge dropping a gavel in the middle of live television. The second the Gervonta Tank Davis fight collapsed, Rogan went straight for the throat. No warm-up, no easing in. Just a merciless verbal attack that felt more like an assault than commentary. He called Jake reckless, embarrassing, and the architect of his own disaster. And instantly, what was supposed to be a blockbuster event transformed into a public nightmare. And believe me, this was only the beginning.
My God.
For sure.
It looked like death. Death.
Rogan didn't address Jake. He cross-examined him like a prosecutor who walked in knowing the verdict. Decades of respect for combat sports fueled every word as he unloaded. He said Jake played stupid games with real killers like Tank Davis and acted shocked when it blew up in his face. In Rogan's eyes, Jake wasn't a rising star. He was a reckless entertainer blinded by fame, Netflix money, and his own inflated myth. And the moment Rogan stopped talking, the internet reacted like a courtroom erupting after a guilty verdict. If you're watching this, hit subscribe, because the story gets darker from here.
That's the fight.
That's going to be a big fight.
Big fight.
Yeah.
Then came the second shockwave, the one that rattled the entire sport. On November 3rd, Most Valuable Promotions dropped the cancellation announcement with all the subtlety of a grenade rolling across the floor. No emotion, no apology, just a cold, surgical statement. The fight is officially dead. Millions stared at their screens like witnesses watching a building collapse in slow motion. But when the real details came out, everything changed.
That's a scary one for fighters too, because things like there's something about fighters are adrenaline junkies that like to be pumped up, and yeah.
Jake's team didn't even try to rewrite the narrative. They couldn't. The lawsuit sitting under Tank Davis wasn't a rumor. It was a ticking bomb. And the moment it went public, the fight became radioactive. Comment sections turned into firing squads. Fans crowned Jake the king of failed events. Anger, disappointment, sarcasm. Everything detonated at once. It felt like the entire fight world had been waiting for an excuse to unload years of frustration directly onto Jake's head.
They're all fucking
They've
crazy.
all done weird shit.
They're fucking crazy.
Analysts said they'd never witnessed a mega event die this violently. No leaks, no slow fade, just a full-scale implosion in real time. Sponsors panicked. Momentum evaporated. Social media hype vanished like lights shutting off in a packed arena. Hours earlier, this was shaping up to be one of the biggest combat spectacles of the year. Now it was a smoking crater, an industry-wide catastrophe unfolding minute by minute. And then came the moment that froze everyone in place.
Because he was going to get... Ben never could wrestle. He could never box.
No.
He's a wrestler. Tyron Woodley. I was so sad when Tyron Woodley kept losing to him. I love T. Wood, man.
Behind the scenes, Netflix was on fire. What was supposed to be their grand entrance into the combat sports world turned into a crisis spiral. Hallways filled with emergency meetings, frantic calls, executives demanding answers, and rising panic over Jake Paul turning from a golden investment into a PR disaster. Netflix wasn't just dealing with a canceled event. They were dealing with a meltdown threatening to stain their entire brand.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, if he's going to prepare, he needs like a real long camp to really get his body back to fighting shape, like real fighting shape.
This wasn't a single collapse. This was a chain reaction tearing through the sport. Rogan's verbal nuke, the lawsuit blast, the cancellation shockwave, the fan revolt, the corporate panic. Every piece of the industry got hit like dominoes falling into fire. This fight didn't just get canceled. It crashed, burned, and dragged everything down with it. And if you think Jake hit bottom, trust me, the real fall hasn't even started yet.
Some stuff you could do for the entertainment, but then, hey man,
there's a line.
we talked
There's a
about
line to
repercussions,
cross.
bro.
Yeah,
You want to talk
100%.
about somebody's wife?
Then the darkest blow landed, the lawsuit itself. Overnight, Tank Davis went from boxing's pound-for-pound menace to the most toxic name in the sport. One court filing out of Miami-Dade turned him into headline poison. These weren't vague accusations. They were graphic, stomach-punch allegations, aggravated battery, kidnapping, violent misconduct. Suddenly, the old arrest videos resurfaced. The domestic violence cases returned. The warning signs fans once ignored became impossible to deny. Tank wasn't just in trouble. He was a walking scandal, pulling the entire event into the abyss.
He was a funny shit talker, and then it seemed later in the career it was more almost like forced, like he was trying to be the villain. You know what I mean?
It got darker.
It's no fun.
Well, it's also you're dealing with people that are dealing with the pressures of being at the top of one of the most dangerous occupations in the world.
And right when it seemed like things couldn't get darker, they did. Because just as the lawsuit turned Tank into a nuclear PR nightmare, another bomb hit the internet. The fight might have been scripted, as in rehearsed, as in choreographed, as in the kind of accusation that doesn't just ruin a fight, it destroys careers.
One shot, knockout power. Yeah.
He had that.
Jake Paul wasn't facing backlash. He was facing annihilation. Rogan's takedown, the lawsuit, the cancellation, the fan riot, the Netflix meltdown, Tank's legal spiral, and now a scripted fight scandal? This wasn't a stumble. This was a free fall with no parachute. If you want part 2, the one where the leaked footage changes everything, drop a like and stay locked in.
Every day when you go to bed, you know there's some dude out there that wants to kick you in the fucking dick.
Jake Paul thought the worst was behind him until the broadcast footage leaked. Out of nowhere, a backstage camera angle surfaced, showing Jake pacing in a dark hallway minutes before the cancellation went public. His face pale, hands shaking, trainers whispering frantically around him like they were trying to contain a bomb. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't fear. It was the look of a man who knew the ground under him was about to collapse. And when fans saw that clip, the internet exploded with one question. What did Jake know, and when did he know it? Because once that footage hit Twitter, the real chaos began.
And I think if you were to pause there and ask most people, what do you think he's going to answer? What do you think a fighter would answer to this? We would probably expect things like, I want to prove that I still got it. I want to prove that I could put this YouTuber down.
But the most shocking twist didn't come from Rogan, the fans, or the lawsuit. It came from inside Jake's own camp. According to one insider, a secret emergency meeting took place 48 hours before the announcement, inside a hotel conference room guarded like a courtroom under lockdown. Jake, his managers, Netflix reps, and legal advisors all sat around a table as a confidential document was dropped right in front of them. Details so explosive, it froze the entire room. Voices got loud. Phones came out. And by the time that meeting ended, one thing was clear. The fight wasn't dying. It was being executed. And that revelation changed everything.